Hi. We're going to read a book called This Is My House by Arthur Dorros. In this book, we're going to look at houses all around the world, and we get to hear how they say, "This is my house," in different languages. I'm going to do my best to say the languages or to say the words correctly, but I might make mistakes. Mistakes are okay. This is my house. My grandfather built it. When we put on a new roof, the house will keep us warm and dry again. What color is that roof? Look at that. This is a big city where they're living. This is my house. In Japan, they say, "Kore wa watashi no iie desu." For this is my house. People make houses out of whatever they can find. There are houses with walls made of stone or wood or mud or grass. There are houses with walls of paper, walls of snow, and even houses on wheels. So many different houses. Thousands of years ago, huts could be made of mammoth bones and covered with animal hides, or branches covered with leaves. Caves were also a place to be safe and warm. This is in Turkey. Bu benim evindir. This is my house. My family made our house in a cave. We carved the cave into a tall rock and we put in windows. We painted the inside walls white. It's different from the caves people lived in long ago. This is my house. This is in the United States. This is where I live right now. My family is staying in our car. We will move to a house when we can. In Saudi Arabia, they might say, "Haza monzili." This is my house. I live in a tent in the desert. Tents are movable houses. We need to move a lot to find water and food for our animals. In Mongolia, they might say, "Eine mini gur." This is my house. Our tent in the mountains has a door, a floor, and carpets. Carpets keep us off the cold ground. We can carry our tent, called a yurt, when we move. In Brazil, they might say, "Esta casa é minha." This is my house. My whole house is made of plants. Where we live, there are plants all around us. We use dried plants called thatch to cover our roof. Many families live together in our house. In Samoa, they might say, "Olou fale lene." This is my house. Our house is as round as a coconut. Everyone in the family helped build our house. We built it without walls so that the air would blow in. The breeze keeps the house cool during the hot days. That's a pretty smart way to keep it cool. Some of my pages like to stick together. This is my house. These are people, this is in New Zealand, so they might say, "This is moi house." We use wood from the forests to make strong houses and other buildings. We cut up logs and nail the wood together, and then they paint it. In Russia, they might say, "Eta moi dom." This is my house. We live in a wooden house made of logs. What are they doing right here? They're chopping up the wood to stay warm in the snow. In New Guinea, they might say, "Dispela emi house belong me. This is my house. We live in a house on wooden stilts. In the water. In Norway, they might say, Dette er mitt hus. This is my house. Our wooden house has a roof that grows. It is covered with moss and other plants. That's pretty special to go on your roof to find plants. In Bolivia, they might say Acá Utahawa. This is my house. I live in the high mountains where there are very few trees. Do you see? No trees anywhere. We built our house out of stone. They have a stone wall too. In Egypt, they might say Haza Monzili. This is my house. We need to add new thatch to the roof of our stone house every year. The thatch wears away, but the stone doesn't. Stone buildings can last for thousands of years. Do you know what that is? Those are the pyramids made out of stone, and they have lasted for thousands of years. In Mexico, they might say, Esta es mi casa. This is my house. Our house is made of mud. It is almost finished. We form adobe bricks from wet mud, and then the bricks dry in the sunlight. We fill the cracks and smooth the walls with more mud. After our day's work, we visit my grandmother. She built her adobe house by herself. This is in Mali, and they might say, Ni ye ne ka soye. This is my house. Each of these mud brick buildings is part of my house. My grandparents, parents, brothers, and sisters have their own buildings. The buildings are connected by a wall. My grandfather carved pictures from stories on the walls and doors of our house. This is in Indonesia. Ini rumah saya. This is my house. In my house, the garden is part of the living room. Everyone in the family lives in rooms around the garden. Rain falls into the garden, but the rest of the house stays dry. The wall of dried mud that surrounds our house has its own roof, so that the wall doesn't wash away. This is my house. We don't say it in their language because every single pueblo has their own language. Our houses connect together to form a pueblo. Many families live close together in the pueblo. My best friend lives at the top of that ladder. This is in the Netherlands. They might say, Dit is mijn huis. This is my house. We live in houses that are connected too. My father is a bricklayer. He uses baked mud bricks to build rows and rows of houses. This is in Hong Kong. And they might say, Nigan hai inau gan ok. This is my house. The building I live in is made of cement and steel. Families live in groups of rooms called apartments on each floor. Workers on bamboo scaffolding 30 floors high are finishing another apartment building. People from apartments below hang laundry on the scaffolding. Look at this house in Thailand. They might say, Ni ben ban konchun. This is my house. My houseboat floats through the waves. We move our house around the city to sell fish we catch. At night, our house rocks us to sleep. Houses can be built into the sky or onto the water. People without houses make shelters from cardboard or whatever they can find. A house can be a small room or a tall building. People who live in the same part of the world can live in different kinds of houses. And people who live in different parts of the world can live in the same kinds of houses. Look at all these different places and houses. And we know that so many languages happen too. Wonderful ways to live. A house can be big or small, in the country or in a city. Wherever it is, the people who live in a house make it their home. They all look pretty comfortable and safe, don't they? That's what we want. We want you to feel safe at home with people you love and people who love you. I'll talk with you later. Bye.